Alright, what's going on everyone? Mr. Rage22 coming at you guys with a new video. So guys, I know I haven't made a video in quite a while. I've just been taking a break, chilling. Been watching a lot of movies, enjoying my Switch, playing some games. But I'm back with another video, guys. And in today's video, this is going to be my first review of the month. And I am extremely happy to be talking about one of my favorite games of all time, and that is Outlast on the Nintendo Switch. So guys, the review is going to be going into a couple categories. Category 1 is story. Basically all the categories is story, gameplay, the scare factor, graphics and performance, atmosphere, and frustrations. So guys, the first thing we are going to be talking about, because I just want to get this review done, and don't want to keep you guys waiting, the first thing we're going to be talking about is the story. So the story of Outlast, it may sound a little cliche at first, because basically what the story is, you are an investigator, a journalist, an investigator named Miles Upshur, and you received an anonymous tip that something very bad is going on at the Mount Massive Asylum. And spoiler alert for the whistleblower review, um, you actually get to experience the story of the first guy who messaged Miles, basically Wayland Park. That's going to be a little spoiler because I will be also reviewing Outlast Whistleblower. But anyways, back to the main game. The story of Outlast, it may seem a little generic. Basically, there was these guys called the Murkoff Corporation, and they basically reopened Mount Massive Asylum to test out this experiment called the morphogenic engine. And basically, in order for it to work, the test subject would have to experience enough horror in order for the morphogenic engine to work with them. And basically, if it didn't kill them, it would basically cause them to go completely fucking insane, which is the reason why the variants, which are basically the game's inmates, are always trying to kill you. I mean, some were turned violent by the experiment, while others just lost their minds to the point where they couldn't even attack you. Others, like Chris Walker and Rick Trigger, they became more violent because apparently, if you read the comics, these guys were actually already a little fucked up even before the experiment. But yeah, guys, that's basically the story. Fucked up experiment being done at an asylum. I know it sounds cliche. I mean, it's basically the story for every other horror movie that takes place in an asylum. There was an experiment there, and now there's horrible things going on. But the story for Outlast, with the whole morphogenic engine thing, I feel that it's actually really, really unique. With the whole fact that the morphogenic engine was turning these inmates into psychos, while it basically Billy Hope, he was basically the only one who was able to use the morphogenic engine. That's where the Wall Rider comes in. The Wall Rider is basically controlled by Billy Hope because he was actually able to, he actually succeeded with the experiment. So he didn't go insane like the other inmates who did due to the experiment. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much the story. I think it's a very good story. I feel like the story for Outlast is probably film material. It's definitely better than some of the horror movies I've seen, like Grave Encounters, where, yes, there was an experiment going on in an asylum, and now it's haunted by the spirits of the patients. No, Outlast is nothing like that. And yeah, I just think it's a great story. Let me know what you guys think about the story. I mean, I know it may sound a little confusing, but yeah, once you figure it out, you'll quickly see that it's a great story, especially for a game like this. So yeah, story for Outlast, I think it's great. So next we're going to be talking about gameplay. So as you can see in the background, this is going to be the gameplay for Outlast. You'll spend most of your time wandering around the asylum, doing objectives. Some could say it's a walking simulator, but I'd say it's more of an objective-based game because for the most part, the only thing you do is just you'll be exploring the asylum, doing objectives, and trying to stay alive because this place is inhabited by people who literally want to kill you. And you'll also be avoiding bitches like Chris Walker, probably the scariest motherfucker in this game. I hate Chris Walker, but I also love him, and the reason I love him is the same reason because I hate him, because he is one scary ass bitch and he's always fucking chasing you. But like I just said, the reason I love him is literally the exact same reason why I hate him, because he is fucking scary as hell. And he'll, like, throughout your time playing the game, he'll be chasing you a lot throughout the asylum. But yeah, the game's main gameplay is basically just you wandering around the asylum and doing objectives. The objective or the game itself, mainly you're supposed to be trying to get to this guy called Father Martin. I don't know why exactly your character Miles wants to get to him so bad. Like, it's not like Father Martin told him to follow him when he first met him. All he said is that he has what the fuck did he say? He has he has a calming or something. I don't know, but yeah, anyways, guys, that's what we'll be doing for the most part. That consists of the game's gameplay. Um, I mean, what exactly do you want? I mean, the game is classic survival horror at its best because, like, I don't know what else you would want in a horror game. You'll be wandering around doing objectives and trying to stay alive. That's basically sums up pretty much all of Outlast's gameplay. But yeah, guys, that sums up the gameplay side. So now we're going to be talking about the scare factor. So as you can see here, we're already looking at something scary. There are literally heads lined up like bottles everywhere. And we got a guy on the split here. But yeah, Outlast is a very, very scary game. I've played this game for years now. I've been playing this game since it first came out, and it still scares me. Like, even after all these years I've played it, Outlast still scares the crap out of me. I mean, not as much as it used to. When I first ever played this game, I was honestly scared to turn on my Xbox. But yeah, I've been playing the game for a long time now, and I think this game is still very scary. You see, the game does have jump scares, but here's the thing. The game's jump scares are not like, there's not jump scares all around like some other really bad horror games and horror movies. The jump scares actually work because, like, basically how it works is, like, when you get jump scared at first, like, you'll be like, oh, okay, you got me. But the game jump scares you again when you least expect it, and that's the cool part. Like, the game has jump scares, but they actually work because they work in the right time. Like, the jump scare is always at the right time. So yeah, in terms of jump scares, Outlast jump scares are really, really good. The game also has a whole lot of disturbing imagery. Like, I'll be honest with you, this game has a lot of disturbing imagery. I mean, not as bad as Outlast 2, where that game is just disturbing as fuck, but as you just saw, there were literally heads lined up like bottles everywhere. So the game has a lot of disturbing imagery. So not only does the game have good jump scares, but the game does not use jump scares to scare the player. The game uses fucked up things like this body over here to scare the crap out of you and give you goosebumps. Or like Angry Joe says, the heebie-jeebies. And just like Angry Joe, I love the heebie-jeebies. But yeah, anyways, guys, the game is definitely very scary. Also, you just saw fucking big chunky Chris up there. He just drew us right down here. I'm not even sure how we're still alive, but yeah, that guy will basically be chasing you throughout the entire game. He's there till the end until he's killed by the wall rider. I'm not going to spoil that for you guys. But yeah, the game is brutal. It's got lots of fucked up imagery. And the game is definitely scary as fuck. I mean, there'll be times in this game where you'll be running from an inmate who's like right on your back and he's trying to fucking kill you. Also, guys, for the love of God, play this shit on hard mode. Like, don't play on fucking normal mode. If you play this shit on normal mode, like here's the thing. Only play on normal mode if you've never played a horror game ever in your life, and only if you have really bad anxiety. Only then play on normal, because then at least it's a little bit justified. But if you guys have played horror games before and you know what you're doing, don't fucking play on normal mode, because that's not how this game was meant to be experienced. This game was meant to be experienced on a hard difficulty. See, right now I'm playing on insane because I'm a fucking savage and I'm an expert at this game, but if you've never played a horror game before, even then I think it's qualified to play on hard mode, because like when you play this shit on hard mode or nightmare mode, or for the complete heart attack experience, like the game even says itself, insane mode, that's basically how the game was meant to be played. Okay, so when you fucking play this shit, like, come on, man, play on hard mode or play on nightmare mode. If you don't want to play on nightmare mode because that sounds too hard for you, then start off with hard mode, get used to it, and then play on nightmare mode. Just do it, guys. Alright, guys, so now we're going to be talking about graphics and performance. Outlast runs fantastic on Nintendo Switch. I gotta say, this is probably like the best port of a game I've ever seen. The game looks good, feels good. Now, there are a couple of scenes in the game where the frame rate does get kind of janky. Like, the frame rate will drop drastically sometimes. I've also been in some areas of the game where the frame rate was not good. And there's also like little hiccups, like the game will buffer at times, which is also extremely annoying. I mean, for the most part, the game runs at a solid 30 FPS and the game looks great. There's not a single problem with the graphics at all. So graphics are good, it's the frame rate that has problems. But don't let that turn you off. The frame rate is good, but I'm just saying, there are times in a game where the frame rate is just completely fucking awful, and the game just has these buffering scenes where, like, I'll be playing the game, like, it'll like stutter all of a sudden, and like it just gets really, really annoying. Another thing that I found annoying is that there'll be times in the game like you'll be playing and like a sudden load screen will come up all of a sudden, like the game is loading something. I mean, I don't know what the fuck the game was loading, but this is also on all platforms, but it's just really, really annoying. But other than that, the game runs great. But like other than those couple of issues, the game runs and looks great. Just if you could get past those like bad frame rate issues, then it's all good. So now we're going to be talking about the soundtrack. The soundtrack for Outlast is really, really good. I mean, it's kind of generic, but at the same time, it's still good. For example, like Rick Trigger's chase music, fucking beautiful. Like it's the perfect mix up of intense while just being really creepy in general. So yeah, the game's soundtrack, very, very good for the most part. Very, very good. So, Outlast 2 soundtrack, spoiler alert for Outlast 2, the soundtrack in Outlast 2 makes the soundtrack in this game, it makes it sound like Disney music, right? I'm just saying, because the soundtrack in Outlast 2 is like so much scarier than the one in Outlast 1, but when it's on, like, when you're comparing it on its own, yes, the soundtrack for Outlast is pretty good. Like, as you can see, listen to this track here, listen to this track here. The soundtrack is very haunting for this game, and that's something that you need in a good horror game like this. So yeah, for the most part, yeah, soundtrack for Outlast, very, very good, just not as good as the second games, or even Whistleblowers. So now we're going to be talking about atmosphere. The atmosphere for Outlast is got to be unlike anything I've honestly ever seen before. Like, this game just has an amazing atmosphere, so yeah, I mean, like I said, I've never seen anything like it. So, atmosphere for Outlast, very good. Let me know. I want to know what you guys think about that. So, yeah, atmosphere is good. So now we're going to be talking about some frustrations. So if I haven't already mentioned about the frame rate, I guess you could count that as being a frustration. So that's frustration one, the annoying frame rate at times. Like I just said before, though, the frame rate is not completely bad, just a little bad. Another thing is that the movement in this game, like when you're running and like when you're about to close a door, like there'll be times where like your character does the completely wrong action. Like he'll close the door on himself before he closes the door on the inmate. Like I'll be running from someone just like this, right? Like I'll be running from someone just like this. I'll try and go inside of here, but like there'll be times where like my protagonist Miles, like he does the complete wrong action. Like instead of closing the door behind him, he'll close the door on himself, and I get killed immediately. So that's one frustration there. Another frustration, like there'll be times where like I'm trying to jump on something, like I'll be trying to vault something, and my character Miles again, he just won't do it. Instead, he'll just jump up in the air awkwardly, and like I'm thinking like, wow, they really could have fucking fixed this controls a little better. See, like, look, you just saw it. Like my character won't do it immediately, and like he'll mess up and he'll just jump awkwardly in the air. So that's one annoyance right there. Other than that though, I honestly can't think of anything else. Anything other annoying. Um, I mean, I guess when you get killed, it could be really annoying, but in terms of frustrations, Outlast barely has any. So, anyways, guys, that pretty much sums up the review. Definitely let me know what you think of Outlast. Now, I actually already have a video for Outlast. I already reviewed it on my channel, but I just decided to do a re-review, basically, since I made some changes to my channel, so I just wanted to do a remake review. I will leave the link in the description for my previous review that I made on the game, so that way you guys can check it out. But yeah, guys, my final thoughts on Outlast. I'd say this is probably one of the best survival horror games ever made. And I gotta say, like, if I could go back when I first ever played this game, I would just love that. I mean, Outlast was my third horror game. My first two horror games that I ever played was Resident Evil Revelations and The Evil Within. But if I could go back and play Outlast for the first time again, I just love that because this is honestly one of my favorite games of all time. This will always, and I mean, like, I literally mean this is coming straight from the heart. Outlast will forever be my favorite horror game of all time. And as many good horror games that I play in the future, which I already have, I will still never love them as much as I love this game because Outlast will always hold a special place in my heart. This is without a doubt one of the best horror games I've ever played. Let me know what you guys think about Outlast. Do you love it or do you hate it? And if you do hate the game, definitely let me know why. I hope you have a good reason. But yeah, guys, anyways, thank you so much for watching. This is Mr. Rage, signing off. Bye-bye, guys, and thanks for watching.